Drone footage released in recent days reveals a disaster unlike anything many residents have ever witnessed. Entire neighborhoods have vanished beneath muddy floodwaters. Roads that once carried thousands of vehicles each day have disappeared, leaving only the tops of streetlights and rooftops visible above the water. In several communities, buildings stand like isolated islands, surrounded by an endless sea of brown floodwater. More than a week after the worst flooding began, many of these areas remain underwater. Instead of rapidly draining away, the floodwaters have become stagnant, leaving behind dangerous conditions that continue to threaten millions of people long after the rain has stopped. The question many people are now asking is simple: how did this happen? Was it simply an extraordinary storm, or did a series of reservoir failures, emergency water releases, and aging infrastructure turn a natural disaster into a much larger catastrophe? This is the story behind one of China's most severe flood emergencies of 2026. The crisis began after days of relentless rainfall swept across southern China. Rivers rose rapidly, reservoirs filled to their limits, and emergency warnings spread across several provinces. At first, authorities described the situation as another severe flood season, something many communities have experienced before. But within days, the situation escalated dramatically. Reservoirs that had been pushed beyond safe operating levels reportedly began experiencing structural failures. At the same time, emergency flood releases from upstream reservoirs sent enormous volumes of water rushing toward downstream cities and villages. The combination created an overwhelming surge that many communities simply could not withstand. Entire towns found themselves surrounded by water within hours. Satellite imagery captured after the flooding showed enormous changes across the landscape. Reservoirs had expanded far beyond their normal boundaries, while nearby farmland, highways, and residential districts disappeared beneath muddy water. Rivers that normally remained within their banks spread across vast areas, transforming urban centers into temporary lakes. For thousands of residents, there was little time to react. Families rushed to higher floors as water poured into homes, vehicles were abandoned on flooded streets, businesses that represented years of hard work disappeared beneath rising water within a single night. In some neighborhoods, rescue boats became the only means of transportation. Roads had become rivers, bridges were inaccessible, and emergency crews struggled to reach isolated communities where residents waited for food, drinking water, and medical assistance. Even after rainfall began to ease, another problem quickly emerged. The floodwaters showed little sign of retreating. Instead of flowing away, the water remained trapped across large sections of the affected region. Drone footage revealed silent neighborhoods where almost no movement could be seen. The muddy currents that had once rushed through the streets gradually became still, suggesting that drainage systems had become overwhelmed and water had nowhere to go. This prolonged flooding has created a second emergency beyond the initial disaster. Standing water quickly becomes contaminated. Household waste, damaged sewage systems, industrial materials, fuel, and animal remains can all mix together, creating serious health risks. As temperatures rise during the summer months, concerns grow over waterborne diseases, insect outbreaks, and deteriorating sanitation conditions. For many survivors, escaping the flood was only the beginning. Returning home often meant discovering that everything had been destroyed. Furniture lay buried beneath thick layers of mud. Electrical systems were ruined. Family photographs, clothing, important documents, and years of savings were lost in a matter of hours. Businesses that supported entire families were left in ruins, forcing owners to begin rebuilding from almost nothing. Many residents have described the emotional impact as even greater than the financial loss. For countless families, these buildings were more than houses. They represented decades of work, sacrifice, and memories that cannot be replaced. As recovery slowly begins, investigators and engineers are now examining an increasingly important question. While the record rainfall clearly triggered the disaster, many experts argue that rainfall alone cannot fully explain the scale of the flooding. Attention is now turning toward the condition of reservoirs, flood control systems, emergency water releases, and the difficult decisions made as rivers continued rising across the region. As rescue operations continued across the flooded region, attention shifted from the rainfall itself to a more difficult question. Why did the flooding become so destructive? Meteorologists agree that southern China experienced exceptionally heavy rainfall during the first week of July. Rivers rose rapidly, reservoirs filled at an alarming pace, and flood warnings were issued across several provinces. But extreme rainfall alone does not always produce devastation on this scale. Modern flood control systems are designed to absorb part of that pressure. This time, however, several layers of protection appear to have been overwhelmed. Reports from the affected region indicate that multiple reservoirs experienced serious structural problems as water levels climbed. Some facilities reportedly developed dangerous safety risks, while others were said to have suffered breaches. After days of continuous pressure from record inflows, each reservoir plays a critical role in controlling river levels. Under normal conditions, they temporarily store excess water and release it gradually, reducing downstream flooding. But when reservoirs themselves approach dangerous limits, operators are often forced to make difficult decisions. If too much water is retained, the dam structure can face increasing pressure. If large volumes are released too quickly, downstream communities may experience sudden flooding. During this emergency, enormous amounts of water were reportedly discharged from several upstream reservoirs as officials attempted to reduce pressure on aging infrastructure. At the same time, reports from local residents suggested that some reservoirs may have suffered partial or complete failures, sending additional floodwater racing downstream. The result was a powerful surge moving through river systems that were already overflowing. Communities located along these waterways had little protection. Residents described water arriving with astonishing speed. Streets that had been passable only hours earlier became impassable rivers. Vehicles were trapped, businesses flooded, and entire neighborhoods found themselves surrounded before many families could evacuate. For emergency responders, every passing hour made rescue efforts more difficult. Road access disappeared beneath several meters of water. Communication networks became unreliable in some locations, while electricity outages complicated rescue operations even further. Boats and helicopters became essential in reaching isolated residents stranded on rooftops or upper floors of buildings. The geography of the affected region made matters even worse. Several flooded cities sit near the meeting point of major rivers. Normally, these waterways carry excess rainfall toward larger river systems and eventually out to sea. But during this disaster, multiple rivers reached dangerous levels almost simultaneously. Instead of flowing freely downstream, floodwater encountered rivers that were already swollen. This created what hydrologists sometimes describe as a bottleneck. Water arriving from upstream could no longer drain efficiently because downstream rivers were already operating at or beyond capacity. As pressure continued building, drainage systems inside cities became increasingly ineffective. In some locations, floodwater reportedly began moving backward through drainage networks instead of flowing away from urban areas. The consequence was devastating. Water entered cities faster than it could escape. Large sections of residential districts remained underwater day after day, even after rainfall had begun to decrease. Businesses, hospitals, schools, and transportation networks continued, facing disruption long after the storm itself had passed. Satellite imagery taken in the days following the disaster appeared to confirm the scale of the flooding. Vast areas surrounding reservoirs and river valleys remained covered by water, while agricultural land and entire communities disappeared beneath muddy floodplains. The prolonged flooding also introduced a new challenge. Standing water continued damaging buildings long after the initial surge. Concrete foundations weakened, electrical systems became unsafe, drinking water sources risked contamination, and recovery efforts slowed as rescue crews struggled to reach every affected area. For thousands of survivors, the crisis was no longer just about escaping rising water. It had become a battle to obtain clean water, food, medical supplies, and shelter while waiting for flood levels to fall. As investigators continue examining what happened, one issue remains at the center of the discussion. Could aging reservoir infrastructure, emergency operational decisions, and unprecedented rainfall have combined to create a disaster far larger than any single factor alone? As the floodwaters slowly settled across southern China, another crisis emerged, one that cannot be measured simply by water levels or damaged buildings. For thousands of families, the disaster did not end when the rain stopped. Across the affected region, residents returned to homes coated in thick layers of mud. Furniture had been destroyed, electrical systems were beyond repair, family photographs were ruined. And years of savings invested in homes and businesses had disappeared almost overnight. For many, rebuilding will take years. The longer floodwater remained, the greater the danger became. Health experts have long warned that stagnant floodwater creates ideal conditions for disease. Floods often mix sewage, household chemicals, industrial waste, fuel, and animal carcasses into a single contaminated water source. During the heat of summer, bacteria multiply rapidly, increasing the risk of gastrointestinal illnesses, skin infections, and mosquito-borne diseases. Relief agencies also faced enormous logistical challenges. Many roads remained impassable days after the flooding began. Rescue teams relied on boats, heavy equipment, and in some areas drones to deliver drinking water, food, medicine, and emergency supplies to communities that had become completely isolated. While emergency operations continued, public discussion increasingly shifted toward accountability. Engineers and disaster specialists have pointed to several factors that deserve careful examination. Not only the record-breaking rainfall, but also the condition of flood control infrastructure, reservoir management practices, and the resilience of aging dams built decades ago. China has one of the largest networks of reservoirs in the world. Many were constructed during periods of rapid development in the 1950s through the 1970s, although numerous dams have since undergone reinforcement and modernization. Maintaining tens of thousands of reservoirs is an enormous engineering challenge that requires continuous inspection, funding, and upgrades. Experts note that earth-filled dams are especially vulnerable if water flows over the top of the structure. Once overtopping begins, erosion can accelerate rapidly, weakening the dam until a breach develops. For this reason, reservoir operators often face difficult decisions during extreme storms, balancing the need to protect the dam itself while trying to reduce flooding downstream. Questions have also been raised about emergency communication. Some residents have said they received little warning before water levels rose dramatically, while others questioned whether evacuation notices reached vulnerable communities quickly enough. Authorities have stated that emergency measures were taken throughout the disaster, but discussions continue over how future warning systems can be strengthened to reduce loss of life and property. Climate scientists warn that these conversations are becoming increasingly important. As global temperatures rise, many regions are experiencing more frequent extreme rainfall events. Storms that were once considered exceptionally rare are becoming more common, placing greater pressure on dams, rivers, drainage systems, and emergency response networks around the world. The flooding in southern China serves as a reminder that modern cities remain vulnerable when multiple risks occur at the same time. Extreme rainfall, saturated rivers, aging infrastructure, and difficult operational decisions can combine into disasters that exceed the capacity of even well-developed flood control systems. Today, many communities remain focused on recovery. Families are cleaning homes, businesses are assessing their losses, and emergency workers continue helping those who were forced to evacuate. For countless survivors, however, recovery will be measured, not in days or weeks, but in months and perhaps years. As investigations continue, one fact is already clear. This disaster was more than a single storm. It was a complex emergency shaped by weather, infrastructure, geography, and the difficult choices made during a rapidly unfolding crisis. Whether the lessons learned from these floods lead to stronger infrastructure, improved emergency planning, and better protection for vulnerable communities may determine how prepared the region will be when the next major storm arrives. Thank you for watching. If you found this report informative, consider subscribing for more in-depth coverage of major global events, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next report.